When I got accepted into grad school, my father-in-law said, "Why? You're just going to quit once you have more babies." My husband laughed and said, "It's kind of true, though." I didn't say a word. A year later, I graduated with honors and sent them invitations to the ceremony with a note that read, "Watch someone you underestimated walk the stage." I was 23 when I got married. Too young, probably. But at the time, I thought I was doing the right thing. I just finished college in Springfield, Missouri, got my degree in psychology, moved back in with my mom for a few months, and started working part-time at a counseling clinic. I wasn't making much, but I had a plan. I wanted to go to grad school. I wanted to get my license, open my own practice someday. Then I met Matt. He was everything I thought I wanted: smart, confident, funny in that way that made people stop and listen. He had this effortless charm, the kind that makes you ignore the little things. He came from money. His dad, Ron, ran a successful insurance firm. His mom stayed home, hosted dinner parties, volunteered for church. Their house looked like a magazine. They were polite, but they had this way of smiling at you like they knew something you didn't. Matt and I got engaged after a year. I remember his mom smiling tight when I told her I still wanted to go to grad school. She said, "Well, that's nice, honey, but you'll want to focus on the family once the babies come." That was the first red flag I ignored. We got married in a country club outside town. It was all planned by Sharon, his mom. I didn't push back. I just wanted peace. A year later, I gave birth to our daughter, Ava. I stayed home. That part was my choice. I figured I'd take a year off and then go back. But once I mentioned it, the pushback started. Ron laughed the loudest. We were at dinner, and I casually said I was thinking of applying to a grad program in counseling. It got quiet. Then Ron snorted and said, "Why? You're just going to quit once you have more babies." Everyone laughed. Matt too. He looked at me and said, "It's kind of true, though." I didn't say a word. I sat there, smiling like it was funny. But something cracked inside me that night. After that, I stopped bringing up school. But the thought never left. Every time I was wiping spit up off my shirt or folding laundry while they watched the game, I kept hearing those words. Just going to quit. It became a challenge. So I started doing research. Quietly. When Ava napped. When Matt was at work. I found a part-time evening program at Missouri State. I need to take out some loans, but it was possible. I applied without telling anyone. I got in. I told Matt I was doing yoga twice a week. That's when my classes were. I used my mom's old laptop. Some nights, I stayed up until 3 a.m. writing papers, then got up at 6 with Ava. I was exhausted. But I felt alive for the first time in years. Of course, things got tense at home. Matt would make little comments. "House is kind of a mess lately. Take out again? You've been kind of distracted." I just smiled and said I was tired.
He never asked why.
And he definitely never noticed I was changing. I stopped asking for help. I stopped trying to connect. I started building my life without him in it. There was one night, about halfway through the program, that sticks with me. I came home from class late, around 9. Ava was asleep, and Matt was sitting on the couch watching a movie. The dishes were piled in the sink, and laundry was on the floor. "Can you help me for once?" I asked. He looked at me like I was crazy and said, "You're the one who wanted to stay home." I didn't argue. I just turned around, walked into the bathroom, locked the door, and cried for 20 minutes. Then I washed my face and kept going. I got through that year by sheer will. I studied in parking lots, between daycare pickups and drop-offs. I graded undergraduate papers as a TA to help cover books. I did therapy practicum hours on weekends, while Matt thought I was volunteering at church. In April, I got an email from the department head. I was graduating with honors. My GPA was 3.97. I didn't cry. I didn't celebrate. I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of cold coffee and just stared at the screen. Then I smiled. I printed my invitations on thick, cream-colored cardstock. Elegant. Professional. I addressed them by hand, one to Ron and Sharon, one to Matt. Inside each was a small note on matching paper. It read, "Watch someone you underestimated walk the stage." I didn't write anything else. No RSVP. No warm wishes. Graduation day was warm but breezy. My mom sat in the front row. My sister too. I wore a deep navy dress under my robe. Not because anyone would see it, just because it made me feel powerful. I didn't expect them to show up, but they did. They walked in 10 minutes before the ceremony. Ron looked annoyed. Sharon had a forced smile. Matt was stiff. He saw me but didn't wave. When my name was called, I walked slowly, clearly, up to the stage. I took my diploma. I paused. I looked out at them. Their faces were tight. They didn't clap. I didn't care. Later, after the ceremony, they found me by the courtyard. "You didn't tell us," Matt said.
No, irraplia.
I didn't. "You were hiding this?" Sharon asked, like I'd committed a crime. "I was surviving," I said. Ron tried to make light of it. "Well, guess we were wrong about you." I looked him in the eyes and said, "That's the smartest thing you've said all year." Then I turned to Matt and said, "I've been working hard for a year while you made jokes and ignored me. That ends today."
He didn't respond.
That night, I didn't sleep at home. I took Ava to my sister's and stayed there. Next morning, I called a lawyer. Matt didn't take it well. When I served him the separation papers, he acted like it was all out of nowhere. "This is crazy," he said, pacing around our kitchen like he was the victim. "You blindsided me. You've been lying to me for a year." I looked at him, dead in the eye, and said, "You laughed when your dad said I'd quit on my future. You laughed. That's the moment I stopped trusting you." He didn't have a comeback. Instead, he moved into his parents' guest house that same week. Fine by me. At first, things were quiet. Too quiet. I was working part-time at a women's counseling center and picking up contract hours on the side. My mom helped with Ava when she could, and my sister covered me for night shifts. Then I got the email. Matt had filed for emergency custody. He told the court I was unstable, that I'd hidden major life changes, that I had lied and couldn't be trusted to raise Ava alone. He included a whole section about abandoning my responsibilities at home and secretive behavior. I sat in my lawyer's office with the printed paperwork, shaking. He was trying to paint me as dangerous for doing something for myself for once. We went to court 2 weeks later. Ron paid for a high-end family law attorney. The guy was sharp, slick, and talked like he was in a TV show. They made me out to be selfish, neglectful, unreliable. But I'd kept everything. Emails from school, class schedules, photos of Ava's organized room, receipts, my transcript, character references from professors and coworkers, even notes from Ava's pediatrician proving I never missed an appointment. When I showed the judge how I balanced it all, without a single complaint from Matt until after I succeeded, something shifted in the room. Matt looked small, angry and small. The judge denied emergency custody and set a shared schedule, leaning slightly in my favor. I could see it in Matt's eyes. He didn't expect to lose. After that, it got worse. He started showing up late for pickups, forgetting Ava's favorite toy, telling her things like, "Mommy doesn't want us all together anymore," trying to poison her against me in small, sick ways. One night, Ava cried in the bath and said, "Daddy said you broke the family." That's when I decided to stop being quiet. I started writing everything down. Every comment, every pickup time, every exchange that went off. I got a notebook and filled it day by day. I took screenshots, recorded voicemails. I even talked to Ava's daycare teacher, who confirmed Matt had been passive-aggressively blaming me when dropping her off. It wasn't just pettiness. It was control. Matt couldn't handle the fact that I'd changed, that I wasn't waiting for permission anymore. Then, one night, a friend from my old church sent me a screenshot. It was from a private Facebook group. Sharon had posted a long rant about daughters-in-law who tear apart families and women who chase degrees but lose their morals. She didn't name me, but it was clear. I printed it, logged it, and then I saw something else, Photos of Matt at a bar, drunk, holding hands with a woman who wasn't me. I didn't care about the cheating. I cared that it was on a weeknight, when he had Ava. That gave me leverage. I filed to modify the custody agreement, this time asking for primary custody and supervised visits. Matt showed up to the custody hearing with a smug look on his face, like he thought the court would always take his side. Ron was with him, of course, dressed like he was headed to a golf tournament, not a legal battle over a child's well-being. They had a new strategy this time. Instead of attacking me directly, they played the concern card. Claimed I was too busy to be a full-time mom. That my new job, my schooling, my supposed ambition, made it impossible for me to give Ava a stable home. She's overextended, their lawyer said. The child is being passed off to extended family and caregivers. This is not the life they promised when they married. This child deserves consistency. I wanted to scream. Because the only reason I'd needed help from my sister or my mom was because Matt never lifted a damn finger. He acted like fatherhood ended after fertilization. But I stayed calm. I let my lawyer handle it. When it was my turn, we laid it all out. The Facebook posts, the photos, the calendar logs, the late pickups, the petty behavior, the emotional manipulation. The night he was photographed drunk at a bar with Ava supposed to be asleep at home in his care. And then my lawyer pulled out the notebook. We showed 2 months worth of entries. Dated, time-stamped, verified. The room went quiet. Matt's expression changed for the first time. He looked panicked. The judge asked direct questions. Matt fumbled, contradicted himself, claimed the bar photo was an old friend and just one drink. Then I pulled out the metadata from the image my friend had sent, clearly dated, clearly recent. That's when Matt blew. He stood up and yelled, "She's turning everything against me. This is her revenge. She was a nobody when I met her." I didn't react. The judge did. She ordered an immediate suspension of unsupervised visits and mandated a psychological evaluation before any custody could be expanded again. I was granted temporary primary custody. Matt stormed out of the courtroom. Ron followed, red-faced and muttering. But that wasn't the last twist. A few weeks later, I got a letter at my apartment. It was typed. No return address. Inside was a single sheet of paper. It said, "You think you've won, but we never forget betrayal. You embarrassed this family." That was it. No name. But I knew that tone. That arrogance. That was Ron. I showed it to my lawyer. She recommended filing for a restraining order if another letter came. I didn't yet. I just made another copy, logged it, and put it in my folder. Then came the final straw. Ava came home one Sunday with a small cut on her cheek. Nothing serious, just a scratch. "What happened?" I asked. She said, "Daddy's friend's dog scratched me when they were laughing." "Friend?" I pressed gently. Eventually, Ava said her daddy had a new friend who stays the night sometimes and brings candy. She didn't know her name, just that she had long nails and red lipstick. I felt my stomach turn. Matt had a girlfriend staying over during his supervised visits. Visits that were supposed to be in a neutral location with a family services rep nearby. Something wasn't right. I made some calls. I requested a review. And I started digging. What I found blew everything open. What I found made me sick. Matt had lied to the court and to the child services supervisor. He told them he'd be doing visits at his sister's house, which was allowed, since she was a certified third party. But he wasn't. He'd been bringing Ava to his new girlfriend's apartment. No supervision. No check-ins. Nothing. I confirmed it when I followed them one afternoon. It wasn't something I planned, but I had a feeling. So I parked 2 blocks down and waited. Watched him pull up with Ava in the back seat. Watched a woman in heels come out to meet them. Watched them walk into the building together. I took pictures. Logged the time. I sent everything to my lawyer. We went back to court within a week. This time, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't emotional. I was furious but controlled. Matt had violated the terms of the custody agreement. Not just once, but repeatedly. He lied to the court. He lied to the state supervisor. And he put our daughter around a stranger without permission. When the judge asked him directly if this was true, he tried to spin it. She's my girlfriend, Your Honor. It's a stable relationship. The judge leaned forward and asked, Do you know her legal last name? Matt hesitated.
He didn't.
She asked what the girlfriend did for a living. He didn't know that either. That was the end. Full custody was awarded to me. Supervised visits were suspended indefinitely. He'd have to petition for any future access, pending a full parenting evaluation, drug screening, and mandatory parenting classes. As we left the courtroom, Ron tried to walk up to me. He opened his mouth to say something. Maybe an apology. Maybe a threat. I didn't let him speak. I said, You laughed at me for trying. You mocked me for growing. You raised a man who doesn't know how to be a father or a husband. So don't talk to me about family. And I walked away. That night, I sat on my back porch with Ava asleep inside, holding my diploma in one hand and a hot cup of coffee in the other. I wasn't proud of everything. I had lied to Matt. I had hidden things. I had played my cards in silence. But I had done it to survive, to protect my daughter, and to reclaim my own name. I'd made mistakes. But I'd also fixed them. Matt didn't. He still blames me, from what I hear. Ron still talks trash about me at his country club. Sharon still acts like I stole their son away. But the truth is, they never saw me for who I was. Now they have no choice. Because every time they drive past that counseling center with my name on the glass window, see, right, MS, LPC, they're reminded. They underestimated me. And I made damn sure they'd never do it again.